Hello, my art students. I am creating this video for you guys to show you that even your art teacher can struggle with new materials. So I decided that I wanted to learn how to use alcohol-based markers. So I bought myself a set of Ohuhu brand alcohol markers. So this video is my first experience with them and my journey in learning how to use them. So I wanted you guys to see me and approaching a brand new art material, just like you often have to approach brand new art materials in my class. So you'll see mistakes made, but lessons learned. So you can see it's okay if you don't get things perfect right off the bat. This video will contain the unboxing, the organizing of my colors, color swatching, as well as some blending practice. So there are timestamps in the description. Go ahead and skip ahead to whichever part sounds most interesting to you, or just keep watching the video if you just want to stay on this journey. All right, I'm so excited. I did peek at this package a little bit to make sure I didn't order the wrong ones again, because I was super psyched when these came, only to look closely and see that they were the water-based markers, which, I mean, they still might be cool, but not what I was wanting. So I'm gonna keep them. They were only 20 bucks for this set, so might still be cool. But I really wanted to try the alcohol markers, and this looks more like it. The alcohol marker set that I've seen so many YouTubers and artists use, so I am psyched about it. Let's see what we got. Okay, there's that little thing to prevent your colors from bleeding if you're on thin paper, but ooh, nice. So I think this is the 40 something marker set. I can't exactly, no, 72 set. So I'm super psyched about this. Oh, there's paper in here. Okay, nice. Honolulu series. Blending tutorial. That's fun. I'm gonna look into that. Oh, they come with their own color swatches, which is super nice. I was planning on doing my own color swatches, but I don't know, this comes with it. So maybe I'll just do this and then make my own order if I don't like it. So I think I'll try that. And I actually, these ones got here first, also ordered their skin tone set. So I'm super psyched about this one. I really expect to do a lot of portraits with my alcohol markers, because I love doing portraits, so that's why I knew I'd want a skin tone set. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to do a challenge where I use the skin tones from just like the big set and then also use them from this set to see, okay, do you really need to get this set? So it looks like it comes with a similar little booklet. I don't see a swatch card though in this one, so I'll have to, I think I'm definitely, my minor OCD is not gonna let me have all these swatched and not these, so I think I'm gonna definitely have to make my own swatch card to get these guys on here. But sweet, I'm excited. Kind of started sorting all my markers, but they're not like sorted super well. Like I just divided greens, blues, reds, reddish, orangish, purples, and everything. I did swatch them all, and I did actually have a swatch for the skin tones. It just fell out of the bag when I looked at it earlier, so I found that. Now you could see, like, looking at this swatch, I'm not a huge fan of how they're organized, so I think I am gonna go ahead and do my own swatching. I also want to swatch on paper that I'm gonna typically be using, so I can get the true color, the true pigment of the markers on that paper, because paper can, you know, make pigments look a little bit different. And then as far as like the skin tones and the original set, there's a few things that overlap, like this Y4, I don't know how to pronounce that, if it's quince or quince, I don't know. So there are a few similar colors, but most of them are new colors. So I am excited that I got that. I'm excited to use it. So I think I am going to get these all organized, ready to go. I just don't have time to like really sit and make art today, which is why I'm like, well, I can organize my markers for when I do make art. All right, all of my Markers are sorted, ready to be swatched, and then organized into my container. So what I ended up doing is numbering all the different colors in like an order that made sense to me. Just in my thinking about my art process and what order I was gonna use. So I'll post like my finished swatch. I'll make sure I get a good shot of it at the end. So if you want to copy what I do, you're welcome to. So here you could see I am just swatching each color, writing down what it is and the common name for that color. Now, it was really interesting to see how different some of the colors were from like the packaging around it. So I think swatching is super important to do. All right, I got them all organized and my colors are swatched. I actually bought these organizers off of Amazon. It was a set that goes all the way up to here. So I think 72 markers for like 20 bucks. And so I made my own to fit the rest of my markers. And you can see I have my duplicates I just put over here. And I thought, oh, I should put my micron pens with this because I feel like I'll use them a lot with these markers. So I have my micron pens, my white Sharpie. I am all set to go. I'm super stoked to start actually using them. I did a little bit of playing around with some blending, color testing on some marker paper. So I'm ready to jump in. Marker paper going in. Man, Newbie mistake number one. You can see how my paper peeled and kind of ruined my table a little bit here. So make sure you either put an extra sheet of paper or this little protectant thing between your paper and your table so you don't make that mistake that I did. Okay, so first thing I want to do is choose a couple of colors that I feel like would blend pretty well. So I'm looking at my color swatch and I decided that I want to go with some blue. So cerulean blue and Indian blue there. And man, I can tell you it is so nice having these markers organized. I can find those markers in a jiffy. Then I'm just deciding I went with the brush side of the pen because I think that's the side I'm going to use the most, so I want to start practicing that. So I put that little swatch down so I remember what the true color was before any blending happens. I'm also using my micron to just write down the code for the color so I know exactly, like if I use this as a base, I know what colors to come back to. Now, newbie mistake number two, I did go with the dark color first. I think in hindsight, you should always start with the lighter color, but I end up saving it. So maybe that's another tip for us is be patient with your blending. You can always save it. So now I'm deciding to go with another set of colors. So specifically yellow, green, and barium yellow. So that's kind of like just a true yellow. So I got these markers out and ready to go and just follow the same process. But this time I decided to try filling it all with the light color first. I've seen this technique on some videos, and then bringing in the dark color on top of that. I do feel like this worked a little bit easier to blend, but it does give you a different look. So I don't know, maybe both ways are okay. It's up to what you want. So with these last two practices, I decided to try to do just most of the way with the light color and then coming in with the dark color after. And I felt like that worked very well. Now it's time to move on to those spheres. So I got myself just a shadow reference. I mean, I could do this from memory, but I felt it was better to have a reference to just be a little more accurate. So now I'm choosing 3 colors of blue that I felt like would blend well and work well for my sphere. And I started with the light color. I learned my lesson from the blending. Always start with your lightest color. And I went further than I needed the light color because I knew I wanted these to blend. Then I go with my medium tone, and I already realized, I do not think I picked the right color. I think I picked a color that is like too far bright or too far off of that light color. But it turns out okay. Then I went in with a dark color, and you can see I left that little bit of space for reflected light. And then I'm just going back in with the lighter colors and blending. So being patient with it, doing layers. that's definitely the best advice I could give anyone with these markers and trying them out for the first time. And then I get my darkest color for the cast shadow at the bottom, and it turned out okay, but like I said, I think I picked the wrong color for that medium tone. I feel like maybe more of a grayed out blue would have made it look more successful. And then you can see I tried to use the color of this blender to bring back in a highlight. Didn't work super well, but it was a good attempt. Now I went with a skin tone scheme, and I actually decided to go with 5 markers this time. So I started with the lightest, went with the second lightest, then more medium tone, and then the darkest tone on top of that. I do feel like I was much more successful in picking colors that blended better and that worked well together. So you can see how much easier these blend, how less choppy it looks as I'm going on and on, getting these light colors blended back in. So I think always start light to dark, and then you kind of go reverse, go back to the light after you go to the dark. So here I'm just writing down all the different colors I use. This one I definitely would reference for when I do portraits, because I feel like that is probably a good just standard skin tone type system for me to use. Then with the cast shadow here, I actually found that I needed to not only fill it in with the dark, but this is where the 5th color comes in. I needed that accent, that really dark shadow right below the sphere. So I got another dark marker right there, and I felt like that's what made it just pop. That felt a little bit more realistic, and I had that dark blend out into that second to darkest. So I added that as my 5th color. So you can see how even from first to second, I'm already getting a lot better with this color blending. So for this last round, I decided, okay, I want to try some reds, and I wanted to go back to a blending practice before I went into the sphere again. So I decided to go from a dark red to like a typical red to like a pinkish color. And already here, I knew that I picked the wrong colors once again. That middle red does not go with that lightest red at all. I feel like that lightest red has a little bit more of a cool tone to it, and my middle red has a warm tone to it. So that's one downfall of how I sorted my markers. I mixed up warm and cool tones, but without thinking about it, I should be choosing all warm or all cool really when I'm doing blending, or just be more deliberate about it. So here, when I went into the sphere, I actually kind of switched up my colors a little bit. So I added a 4th color first off, and so you can see I have that lightest color, and then that second to lightest that I had originally used, and then that bright red that I end up actually covering because I don't like how it looked. I think it was just like the mistake to use for this. So at first I was like, oh crap, this lighter red is not blending to the second to lightest red, but I kept going with it. I was patient with it, and it ended up working okay. And then you can see here how I'm just pretty much covering that bright red area. It just did not work out, so I grabbed the really darker red. I think it's called Old Red. It has more of a purplish hue, and I covered that brighter red and got that, looking a little bit more true to the color tones. So I felt better about the sphere at this point, and finished off the blending there. So that is going to be it for this video. I do have these empty spaces, but I want to use them to help me with the next practice worksheets that I made for myself. You can see them right here. So in future videos, you can see me. I'm going to be practicing with some leaves and flowers, some hair blending, eyes and lips, and kind of getting skin tones around these as well, and then some fabric practice. So I wanted to leave some space on this one so that if there are color combinations that I want to try and want to practice blending first, then I have this to use. But I guess I could always print more as well. And All of these worksheets that I am using are available in the description below. They're just going to be in a Google Drive folder. So if you want to print them for yourself and get your own practice, you are more than welcome to use these. Now, I am just super excited about these markers. I do get the hype. I get why people rave about them. They are so satisfying to use and work with, and I can't wait to get even better at using them.